Greetings, everyone. I am Tawnya Love, and welcome to the Tawnya Love Show. Today, I'm so excited to introduce to you a new soul sister I just recently had the pleasure of meeting, and she just wrote a book called I Dreamed I Was Human. So I want to welcome Carolyn Gervais. So welcome, Carolyn, or Gervais. Dang it, and I messed up anyways. Carolyn Gervais. So thank you for joining us today, Carolyn. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of interesting because life is just, go with the flow, and we're connecting right up to the second for the show. And so, we learned to just be present in the now, and we were just totally tested with that, weren't we?
Oh, yes, we were.
Tested by the technology gods. No.
Yes.
So, welcome. Basically, I've read most of Carolyn's book. I haven't got a chance to read all of it because it's just been a very interesting couple weeks for me, but I'm looking forward to reading all of it. And Carolyn and I chatted the other day and had a little talk about herself and like what led her to write this book. And just, I felt such a connection with her and what I've read so far of our own journeys mirroring each other so much. And um, just the understanding of that feeling that you have understanding of your environment, you have this intelligence, but you don't necessarily fit in. Not necessarily does everyone really understand how you feel them and understand things. And Carolyn captures that so beautifully in her book of her story that led to her, what I would like to refer to as her awakening. Would you say that's a good way to put it, Carolyn?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's been a long process and,
Absolutely.
and it's an ongoing process.
Absolutely. So, what would you like to say? How about you just we're just going to free flow this and just introduce yourself to everyone that's watching and kind of tell them a little bit about yourself and what your soul's mission is and what led to this book.
Well, my sole mission, as far as I know up to this point, is to share what I have learned from my experiences in this field of study and contemplation and meditation. And it began at a very, very early age for me. I remember when I was somewhere between 2 and 5, I just realized one day I looked out through my eyes and I saw I was on this earth. And I thought, how did I get here?
Like, what the heck is this place?
Oh, what happened,
Yes. And
And
what would you describe that as? Like, because I had a very similar feeling as a child. So can you put that in the best you can? Because sometimes what we feel is tricky to put into words, so I get that. But
yeah.
what would you say is the best way you can describe that feeling? Like what it felt like vibrationally to you, what it felt like, in your best way you can describe.
Well, it was kind of shocking
Hmm.
to say the least because it was like I wasn't here than I was here.
Hmm.
And I had somewhat of a memory or a feeling of where I came from. I remember what it felt like there, and it was a feeling of comfort and peace and love, and it wasn't confusing. And what I felt as I looked out through this body was, whoa, this just seems so chaotic.
Yes.
Everybody talking, everybody doing something, and I don't even know what they're doing or what they're talking about. And I was just totally stunned and a little bit overwhelmed because I was trying to figure out what am I supposed to do with this?
Exactly. And
Yeah,
like I think that same feeling is kind of like the sense of like even there was like a heaviness that I could sense like
yes,
I've referred to that to people that I've talked a lot of my clients and things of I remember that feeling of I just knew I came from this place that was so peaceful and harmonious and there was just such love there and
yes.
suddenly I was surrounded by abuse and suffering and woundedness and it was so heavy it was almost unbearable for me to be around like I felt it so much in my body. So would you say you had similar feelings?
Oh yes, I was really kind of scared because I thought, well, I need to figure out how to get back to that place I left
Yeah.
because that's where I wanted to
You're like,
go.
beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah, you know,
Exactly.
and so I'm thinking, uh, what am I going to do? And the only thing I could think of is just to watch everything intensely,
Yes.
and try to make some sense of it, and in the hope that somehow it would get me back to where I was before.
Absolutely. So we start to learn to really still remember who we are and stay connected to source. And then the wisdom is we become the observer,
Right.
right? And so
Right.
when you remember to do that, we feel good. And if we
Mhm.
forget to do that and we get too caught up in the movie, we feel really bad really fast, right?
Right. Right.
So
Well, at
go ahead.
that point, I didn't feel like I was a part of it.
Mhm.
It felt like I was just standing back watching all this. And it
Yes.
almost seemed like, I don't know, I guess the people there knew me because they didn't act like all of a sudden I was there and like I wasn't before. So it seemed like, I must have been there, but I didn't realize I'd been there. I was
Yes.
yet.
That's so interesting. Well, and I feel the cool thing about the way you're describing that and the timing of this book coming out is that so many, I know the clients I'm connecting with and the viewers, the people we're drawing in that I feel spirit summoning in to watch these shows. There's an awakening happening on a global scale, and our consciousness is going higher, like we're shifting into a higher vibration and frequency. And so, your timing and my timing is divine. And for us to come out right now and to explain this to those that are listening, because they are going through it right now, and they're feeling kind of that feeling we did, where we're like, what the hell's happening? And it's really important that we can help. That's what I feel my purpose is. And I sense that with you when we talked, is
Right. Yes.
that we went through that and we kind of got ourselves shifted and came back into alignment so that we could be mirrors of that. We could kind of be a pure channel of that to assist those that are now ready for that. Would you say
Right.
that's pretty accurate?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
And right now, there's so many. I've just sensed a lot of shifts moving in recently. A lot of, and in my own family and observing the world around me, what Source told me recently is, and I'm not going to get deep in this because this is your time, but I feel like I need to address this for a moment because so many that tune in. This past week, my son was actually attacked by my ex-husband, and everything's fine now, and we're moving through it and working through it. But I met police officers, I met, people at the hospital and the counselors that have come in, and everyone, when I was on my way there, knowing what was going on, I was like calling out to the angels to assist and bring in the right ones that are here to put an end to this. And everything has been flowing in perfect harmony for us. Now,
Right.
the karmic consequence for those that are going to stay stuck in this lower vibration, it's coming swiftly. But I feel like it was really important to address it just for one, because I'm getting so many emails and Facebook saying, what's going on? Are you okay? Because of things that happen. And we are on the path of healing and empowerment, is what I've been saying, because everything is about that. And it's really important that we start claiming our power and that we realize what Source told me was that this is a time where these little things that are happening in each of our life, they are there's like a deeper cellular memory of pain on the collective conscious. So that collective consciousness has this deeper suppression of pain and suffering. And for us to transcend that, we need to allow it to come to the surface. We need to allow it to come into the light so that we can heal it. And the pattern in us as humans is to suppress. We don't
Yes.
want to see it. We don't want to talk about it. It makes people uncomfortable to even hear me saying this, probably. But it's happening so that we will come up and we'll release it to the light, and then we step into our alignment and we're liberated and free. It's like a rebirthing. So I
Right.
just feel like what you're doing and what we talked about, and then what happened in my family this week, it's happening on a planetary level, and we're not alone. Like, it's happening, but it's really important that we stay very mindful and aware of how we're handling what's happening and that we stay focused on in love, a vibration of love
Mhm.
and alignment, and not get afraid and go into that lower vibration of fear or control, um, vengeance, those kind of energies.
Lashing.
And yes, the lashing out, because it's really I just feel like it's quickening, is what they say. There's a quickening. Everything we're sending out, it's coming back faster. If we're putting out love, if we're putting out, generosity, kindness, it's coming back faster. If we're putting out hatred and negativity, that's whipping back and hitting us. Would you agree with that, Carolyn?
Yes, I do. I do. And one way we can stay in touch with all of those feelings is when we do feel like we want to um, go back into denial and feel the pain of being in the illusion, what I call the illusion,
Yes.
then we have to realize that uh, that is just burying what we need to let come to the surface, because really there isn't anything to fear but fear itself. I know that.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
But what is fear? Fear is a perception. That's what fear
Someone once
is.
said it's false evidence appearing real. And I think
Yes,
that's so spot on.
it is. It is. And that I think that in our world, denial, I have said this, and I say it in my addiction chapter, the biggest addiction we have on this earth is denial,
Absolutely.
pretending that what we fear isn't real and just shoving it down. And we have done that, even metaphysical people have done it for years, and said this is the right way to deal with your pain,
Yes.
to just think positive.
Absolutely.
Just think positive. Don't think about those things, then they'll go away. But they don't go away.
Yes.
They have to surface and be healed
It's true. And if
before.
we can keep our vibration on a high positive place, but we
Right.
still need to give time. Like if, for example, so as a mother, I can
Mhm.
speak like someone just abused my child and I'm there dealing with it. I am pissed off. I feel
Yeah.
anger about this happening. There is a soul level of this is enough.
Yeah.
And I have to allow that feeling to come to the surface and really express it and then stay centered in love at the same time. And as things are going on, I still keep affirming only good will come of this. There is only good coming. And I keep that positive vibration, but at the same time, allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling. If you're feeling anger, you need to be honest about that and find a healthy way to release that rather than deny it, push it down, and then it's like a volcano and it's going to blow. Probably on
Right.
some random person that has nothing to do with all your anger, you
That's
know?
right. Yes, that's the way it happens.
Yes,
And we need to say, not just feel the anger, but ask ourselves, okay, what is it I'm so afraid of right now
yes,
that I'm feeling this?
yes, yes,
And for me, I have always practiced going into the scenario that I so fear could happen
yes.
and really look at it, stand back and look at it in an objective way
Mhm.
and say, how would I deal with that if it did happen?
Exactly.
There is always a constructive and positive way to deal with what we fear, and know that
Yes,
if it were to happen, this is how we could deal with it and we would move
yes,
through it. And
yes,
we never want to move over it or under it. We need to
yes.
move through it. And that can only come through understanding where that is coming from, what that is
Absolutely.
all about, that fear.
I totally agree. I feel like that's been something totally put into practice this week and really, even like helping my son to realize, no matter what happens, like, this may be what you're afraid is going to happen. Like they're going to do this. So what is it that we could do if that were to happen? And that's exactly the conversations we had. Like,
Yeah,
what choices can we make
that's
that are
right.
empowered that will still be okay? And then you start to realize that you don't need to lose yourself in your emotions
Right.
because you have solution is always available if we're seeking it. And
Yes.
sometimes we forget that and we just go and we kind of get distracted over here for a little while in the problem and we stay there too long. And so I agree. It's so important that we stay centered, we feel it, we move through it, and we look at our options of that we're very capable and intelligent souls that can make choices that will liberate us every moment.
Right. And I think this is why the world has gotten to the point of, well, the probably uh, there's so much hate on this earth.
Hmm.
And I mean, yes, there's always been hate on the earth. But what is hate? Where does hate come from? You know where hate comes from? It comes from being afraid.
Absolutely.
Comes from being afraid. So once we figure out what we're so afraid of, how is this person going to hurt us? I mean, if we're afraid of this person, even if they said something mean and cruel to us, that can only hurt us if we believe
That's
that they
right.
are right or if we're afraid they're right.
That's
That's the only
absolutely
way it hurts.
That is absolutely
Mhm.
true. And that's why it's so important that each of us clear that fear. That's where, when I was called in to serve the angelic realm and helping with auric clearings,
Mhm.
that's, if you want to make it very simple, that's what I'm assisting with is helping humans tune into that fear. What is that? And let's clear it. It's time to release it. It's time to come back and embody unity consciousness and to come into our wholeness. And when
Yeah.
we're in that place, there's nothing to fear. We know that we're one with Source. And when we're one with Source, the entire universe is working in our favor. Everything is for us. But when we're
Yeah.
in fear, the universe is out to get us. And so it's like we have a very different life experience depending on that focal point.
Yes, but when we are in deep fear about something, I mean, there's so many people out there in the world now that are scared because they don't know what their next step is.
Yes.
The world is has changed so much.
Hmm.
It feels so much more unsafe, so much more insecure.
Yes.
Because jobs are harder to find. We have families that have to be fed and taken care of. And so, even if we are in fear, when a person is really frightened and they don't know what step to take, think about your options. What step could you take? Even though, let's say, that step is not going to take you out of this situation completely, but it's a step. Take a step. And that's the thing
Absolutely.
we have to be aware of. Be willing to take a step, no matter how unfamiliar or scary that step seems, to try to
Yes.
help yourself. Because once you take that step, you are taking a step forward and opening some door, something that is going to help you, even though it may take a while for you to see that.
Absolutely. That's exactly what spirit and angels and, source is always channeling through is, and my own life situation, my own life journey has been, I'll tell clients, I'm going to tell you that it's going to work out for you, but you need to look for that next step because I think what a lot of humans do that causes them to stay stuck is they want the whole plan put in their hands like a map,
Right.
and they
That one.
want the whole business plan and they want proof and like a warranty. And I haven't witnessed that this is how Source works.
No.
I kind of laugh at them and I'm like, be playful about it, but realize Source will always show you that next step. You have to have the courage to take it and then the next step will be revealed. So don't procrastinate and stay stuck in fear because that starts to feel, it will start to paralyze you. And then you start doubting yourself, and now you're really stuck. But
And then
just get
you
in
don't.
that, yeah,
Yeah.
just get into your center and make a choice and take it with confidence.
That's right. And it doesn't matter if that choice does not live up to your ego image of yourself.
That's right.
That is one of the biggest problems on this earth right now. I know people, especially young people, let's say somebody that has gone through college and they've got this degree, this wonderful degree in something that they always dreamed of doing, and they did this for a while, but then all of a sudden they lost that job and
Hmm.
now they can't find another one like it.
And no matter
And
what they do, it's not,
right,
the universe is not guiding them in that direction.
right. And they're fighting it and they're trying to force it and they're doing everything they can and they're depressed and they're on the computer day and night looking for that perfect job to bolster their ego to where it was when they were in that other job.
Yes.
And they're scared to death because they think if they don't have that kind of job, that they can't live in the world, that they don't know what they're going to do. They won't like themselves.
Yes.
They will feel like they are less than. They will feel like they have failed.
Because their
And
ego says that's who you are, and
that's right.
that's really a limitation.
Right. And
Yes.
so we have to be willing to take a step that's unfamiliar, even if that step makes us feel like we have failed.
Hmm.
It hasn't really, but our ego is telling us it is because this is what we've programmed ourselves to believe.
Absolutely.
So we need to take that step, regardless of the way it makes us feel, and know that that step will show you another step and also open up a door to something maybe different than you ever thought you would do. But you see, this is the time in evolution, human evolution, where we are here now to figure out what we are to do as these spiritual beings,
Yes.
not what our egos want.
Yes.
And we don't know because we haven't done it. A lot of people have not experienced life through that unfamiliar self, that soul essence of of who we really are. And so they don't know anything but the ego. So the only thing I tell people to do is be willing to go through that feeling of feeling like you failed or that you are less than, and that, oh, now I really, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's
That's a
okay.
beautiful
But
place.
make
I've
them believe
been there.
anything. Yeah, I have too, many times.
And it actually
So
can be exciting, wouldn't you say? Like, once you embrace it, it turns from something that once was so terrifying, it can become fun. Where now, when something, I even tell clients, I'm like, when things start falling away like dominoes, celebrate. And they're just like, are you crazy? I'm like, eventually you're going to see it because the universe is showing you this is not for you. These people are not for you. And they're falling away. Celebrate it and be open and optimistic to what new energy is coming because you're evolving. So if you
and
go with it, it feels good.
right. And the universe wouldn't be allowing this to happen or letting this happen around you if you, on some other level of your being, want it and know
Yes.
it's time.
Yes.
It's just we get in our own way because we have these certain beliefs and perceptions about life and ourselves, and we have to let go of those perceptions and so that we can see who we really are.
Absolutely. I would say you probably for you as well, because I make my living. I've said Source is my employer. So I don't really work for anybody. I volunteer in the community here and there, and I have classes and I work with clients in my home, and I'm writing a book like you just put a book out. And would you
Right.
say that you've learned to allow Source to be your employer, knowing that everything is coming to you that you need and that there's no reason to fear. And once
Yeah.
you understand that, your clients come in, the opportunities come in, everything works out. Like even how I ended up getting this show was so synchronistic. I had just been in meditation talking to my angels and like I'm ready. I've had always had this dream to have like my own like Oprah Winfrey show, but with a
Me too.
spiritual twist, like really focused on spirituality, and
Mhm.
boom, the opportunities start coming in. And so if you really get out of that place of thinking you have to control the universe, but you start going into meditation and visualize what you know your soul's ready to have and what it's ready to embody, then
Mhm.
you just start being like the observer. You're watching for that opportunity. You're watching for that door that's about to glow and open up to you. Would you
Mhm.
say that's true?
That is true. But another way of saying that is that, this is in my book. A lot of this stuff I'm talking about is in my book. I talk about desire and passion.
Mm-hmm.
We have these human desires, and as children, we're told, oh, well, some adult says, well, you should do this or you should do that, or you have this talent, so you should do
Or
this.
you'll never
Well,
make money doing that.
no,
Yeah.
right. So I was taught as a child, I come from a very musical family. So I was taught very early on that if I wasn't musical, my mother was a singer, my father was a trumpet player, and my father taught music in the public schools. My mother sang on TV shows. She wasn't famous or anything, but she sang country and everything. And all my family sing and play instruments and whatever on both sides, you know. And so I knew that in order for my family to pay any attention to me, I had to do that too.
Hmm.
So I chose to become a singer,
So
and
you
I did.
choose to deny yourself to be accepted. Isn't that
Well,
what a lot of humans do? Like we deny
yes.
our own alignment because we want
Yeah.
acceptance.
Well, I knew that I had to start somewhere on this earth to figure out who I was, and
Yeah.
I didn't know how to read yet at 4, so I decided, okay, I did like to sing, you know, it was fun, you know. So my twin sister and I would sing for our parents and we'd sing for our grandparents, you know, and we just developed that over the years. And I did that for over 25 years. I was a professional singer, even though I was always into metaphysics and spirituality and still trying to figure out why I was here.
Hmm.
But I figured, okay, I need to know maybe more about how the rest of humanity thinks and feels on the earth.
Yep.
So I went and did all these different kinds of jobs and sang. I sang, and then I've done lots of other kinds of things too. I have degrees in all kinds of things and certificates and graduated with all kinds of things, but I keep coming back to the spiritual that my heart wants.
Yes.
So if you don't really know what you want to do yet with your life, look at your desires.
Absolutely.
And but remember, you want to choose something always that has integrity,
Yes.
that expresses integrity. Because if you don't, you're just going to create more problems and suffering for yourself than is necessary. So
I
choose,
absolutely agree with you.
yeah. So choose a desire you think you might want to start with
Yes.
and go after it. Take some classes, talk to people that are in that business, read up on it, and try it and see what it brings you. Because
Yes.
no matter what, you're going to learn and grow from that experience, even though that may not end up being your ultimate life experience or life job. It's
Yes.
going to open you up and teach you what you need to know and prepare you for your ultimate passion eventually.
Absolutely. And I even feel like there's a gift in that contrast. Like for so many of us that have chosen a path to please others, there's a gift in that. Like you learn from the contrast of the suffering. You learn when you deny yourself how terrible that feels. And ultimately, you wake up and stop doing that. And so, even that is a gift. When we look at it, and instead of feeling regret, we're like, wow, I'm really grateful for those things or those people that didn't treat me with respect or didn't really value or honor me because it wakes this fiery, passionate energy up in you so that you'll never settle again. You'll always seek your highest alignment, and that is integrity. And when
Right.
you're really living your life's passion, your soul mission, everyone feels it. Everyone is aware of that passion because you embody it. And that's when
Yeah.
all these opportunities come your way because you're just like a firework exploding everywhere you go. So
Yeah.
it's so worth it. So no
Yes,
matter
it is.
where we are in our journey, we're learning exactly what we need to learn, exactly where we are for
Yes.
where we're ready to go, where we're ready to evolve to.
We can only know and understand what we are ready to know and understand.
That's
We
right.
get what we need when we need it. And that means whatever opportunity comes to you, if you think you need to put some energy into that opportunity to check it out, do so.
Hmm.
Don't avoid something because it's scary or
Yes,
because you're not sure what it's going to give you, because we can never be sure until we do it.
that's right. So, getting first, I'm going to pause for a second. Amnon, has anyone written in with any questions or
Nope,
anything
not
so
yet.
far?
Not yet.
Uh,
Uh-oh.
Okay. You're cutting a little bit. Is the audio come through good? I hope so. It just got a little glitchy on my side.
It's cutting out.
Yeah, it's cutting out a little bit. Okay. Calling in the computer angels to get everything back into alignment here. Um, so let's go. I felt it was so powerful, the chapter you had on addiction. And
Mhm.
like you were saying, the ultimate addiction is that being basically controlled by fear. And I feel that right now, as I'm observing, there's so many that I'm observing that are suffering. And what Source has told me is that recently I was told in a meditation that, look around you, look at the humans. They suffer. They say they, need more money. But look at them, really observe them. There's the rich, there's the poor, as we like to call it, poor. And really, they all are suffering. And so it doesn't matter what we have externally. Once we really come into our alignment, we heal everything. Everything comes into balance and we really enjoy our life. And so when I was reading your chapter about addiction, I just felt that was so spot on with what I'm observing is that so many humans are seeking something externally to kind of fill that void, to fill them up, whether it's shopping, sex,
Right.
drugs, just paranoia and fear and depression. There's like this addiction to suffering. And
Yes.
I would love you to talk about your perspective on that.
Well, the greatest addiction, like I said, in this world is denial. So we have to be willing to take responsibility for our fears,
Hmm.
take responsibility for feeling them, and it's not a bad thing, but also we need to be willing to, if we are addicted to something, and I think people become addicted outside of themselves to things because they fear they fear not having. They fear not having anything. They
Yes.
fear being down and out. And so it's like that was like a frenzy, like going into a uh, temporary false high by saying, okay, even though I don't have the money for this, I'm going to go buy this or I'm going to go get that because
Yes.
I'll be happy. That'll make me happy.
Because
But
you
that's,
think you're like getting control back of something,
yeah,
even though really you're
yeah,
losing control.
right. And for 5 seconds, yeah, you feel like, oh, wow, hey,
I
I'm
can
in
do what I
control.
want.
I can get what I want. I can get what I want. How dare you, universe, try to take anything from me? You know?
Yes.
But that's an illusion because what we think we want out here as far as material things, yes, we all need a home, a safe home, and a healthy food and love and compassion and all the things that we need as to live in these bodies comfortably.
Hmm.
But we have gotten humanity has gotten out of control because of society, because of the media. I mean, look at every time you turn around, there's something new being advertised on TV. And those
Best
people
thing you
that
do
are,
is turn the TV off.
yeah, but because if a person is unhappy with who they are as a person and what their life is going on in their life, then they think, well, that life is to have fun. And so they think by having fun, that means go out and get the toys, buy everything you think you need and want. And
Collect things.
yes, yes,
Yep.
and that will take care of it. But it doesn't. And this is why I feel that the economy and why we've been through what we've been through in the last, 10 or more years with lack of jobs and integrity on the earth,
Hmm.
because we have gotten lost so much in the material way of living in the world that we don't know what is real and what isn't. We don't know what's important and what isn't. We don't know what is happiness and what isn't.
Absolutely. And I feel like it's so important that we start to really look at our lives if we're suffering. And because I kind of will say this joking, but not totally joking. Like I'll tease, but I really watch it. Like people go, I don't really have time to come and have a healing session, or I don't have enough money to have a healing session, or I don't have time to come to yoga, or I don't have enough money to come to yoga. And I'll observe them, and they're showing the new high heels they bought, or they got their toes done,
Right.
or they went out partying. And it's not that every one of us has the same 24 hours in the day, and we all choose what we do with that. If we understand how yoga or meditation helps us to really come into our power, and it helps us to be at peace and be at ease, and it helps us to really get all the things we want externally, we'll start claiming that more. But so many are so distracted and
Yeah,
don't understand. So they're always chasing these externals that are temporarily satisfying, but ultimately those external things are very superficial. They never last and they never really help you with your soul's alignment and your soul's happiness.
that's right. They never last. So what does last? What does last on this earth? Only knowing who we are as these spiritual beings and having the ability to love and care and have compassion and integrity for the rest of the world as well. That's what brings us peace.
Absolutely.
And it's not all this stuff out here. And I'm not going to say that everybody chooses or finds does the same thing in order to find who they are as a being. Person does to do that. As long as okay, what other than what's in this world, why can't I be happy within myself? What stops me? And what stops us from being happy is our beliefs, our fears, what we've been taught, our perceptions. Our perceptions are based on our beliefs and our experiences. So, where do we begin changing that? We begin by looking at the experiences that still haunt us, that still cause us pain, and healing those experiences. Because everything that comes our way, every issue, every situation, every problem, every challenge that comes our way is a gift. I know it's hard to think of it like that, but think about this. If everything we experience is changing us and helping us to grow and expand who we are physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then that has to be a gift. So
Yes.
even if that experience is painful, don't look at it. Know that, okay, it's painful. But you see, it's painful because that is the only way you are willing to accept that lesson and learn that lesson from this experience, as if it's painful.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have to be painful.
Yes. I
So,
agree. And I feel like that's the same thing, like when I'm helping, whether I'm helping my child or a client, is always encouraging them to really look for that gift and to really see that, it comes back to that alignment of the universe is supporting you, that you're
yeah.
one with Source. Source wants the best for you and is one with you and is living through you to put you on the path that's really for your highest good. And so the more you're aware and you're going with that flow, you're feeling joy. I kind of made a reference of like um, a visual is like being in the ocean, and there's some humans that are in the ocean and they think they can hold the wave back. They're just like, no, like I'm going to control the wave. And they get their butts kicked, you know? And
Right.
then there's the ones that are on the water and they're waiting, but they keep being too afraid to go with that wave and take that next opportunity. So they just stay paddling for a long time. And the ones that learn to feel when that energy is rising and it's coming to support them, and they get lifted by that wave and carried right where they need to go, it's just a difference of understanding how to move and allow life to flow through you
Right,
rather than feel like you need to control it or
right.
you've got to just like not trust in it because you can live it out those ways and they're going to be perfect to wake you up. But when we go with it, it's fun and everything flows for our highest good.
When we don't resist it, and we resist it by saying, oh gosh, I'm being punished for something, I did
Yep.
something bad. And
Ego, ego, ego.
yeah, and then that guilt kicks in, and now you feel like, oh gosh, I must have done something really bad. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but now I'm experiencing this. Don't look at it like that.
Hmm.
Look at it like, no, this is the way you, as an ego and a person with free will, choose to experience it, because you, as that ego, are so much in your own way, you can't experience it any other way but this
Yes.
way. You
Yes.
didn't do anything wrong or bad. You just need to experience this way in order to learn what it is teaching you
Yes.
as a soul being.
Yes. I would say right now it's such an amazing place like on our planet right now. And as we can more and more embrace and embody trust and just really understand what the word surrender means,
Yeah,
everything will be in your favor in those places. But it's, some of us are gonna go through pain because our egos are so clinging to the fact that we think we have to control it all or it's got to go a certain way for us. But it's exciting to me when I observe the ones awakening, and just the awareness I have to not even feel afraid or angry about any of it, but to realize it's all happening perfectly to awaken each of us and to help us to really like come back into alignment, come back to integrity.
right, right. And it's going to be painful until we do come back into balance.
Absolutely. All
And
about balance,
it's
right?
all about balance. Yes.
Yes.
We
So,
are living in a duality, and everything, all these opposite extremes have to come into balance.
yes. Yes, and when we really are living that balance, we're more centered in our heart. And when we're in our heart space, we're not always out looking like what's in it for me. We're still self-love is definitely, I feel self-love, this shift on a planet, I call it the self-love shift because it's
Mhm.
really
It is.
about self-love. And if
Yes,
we're
it is.
in that alignment with self-love, we really know that we deserve good and we live in that integrity, but we're coming from our heart center, which is like, how may I serve? We're coming
Right.
from it like a looking out of how may I serve all that is needed here? What is my mission? How may I serve? And when you're in that alignment, the irony of all the ones that are so afraid there's not enough is when you get into that alignment, you realize there's plenty and you're so supported. But when you're in like clinging and gripping and like, there's not enough for me and how do I get my share and you're taking and you're controlling, it's like money and opportunities are just sliding through your fingers. You can't
Yes,
hold on to them. Would you
yes,
agree?
yes. And you're also putting up barriers and blocks and walls around you,
Yes.
and the energy can't come in because what you are thinking and feeling and believing is like it's a wall that's stopping it. It's like it's repelling everything that's trying to come your way.
Yes.
That could be could be about love and integrity and all that, because and so we have to get rid of those beliefs that it's all about me. No, it's all about all of us working
Yes.
together.
And we're all really one. And if we're lashing out and trying to harm one, we're really harming ourselves. If
Right.
we're supporting and offering compassion, we're supporting ourselves. So
Yes.
it's like really where what we're putting out is so much more important than what we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we can see that. And I think the only way that happens, at least for my own awakening and alignment, was when I realized like I am one with source. I need nothing. And when you really get to that place where like I feel like there's this issue with this mother father thing in us where it's like, and that's why religion projects that. It's like the mother or the father. We're either wanting a goddess or a god, and it's outside of us. And like, I liked how your chapter's talking about what you believe in God has a huge effect on your life because so many that see this external deity that's going to punish them if they don't do what they're
Right.
supposed to, they really become that. That's how they treat others.
That's
But
right.
when we're one and we know that we're one with Source and that we're that love and that compassion and that Source is living and moving through us, teaching through us, we're putting out this energy and vibration of abundance, and we have all of it. Like, I am whole. So now
Mhm.
I'm no longer seeking the approval of the mother, or I need daddy, because I am mother, father. And
Right.
that's what had to really happen inside of me,
Hmm.
so that I no longer felt was needy for anything. And I feel that little step is so important for us to heal all this external projection that we've been taught to believe that we're lacking in some way.
Right. Right. Yep. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what addiction is all about. Addiction is fear. We take on addictions out of fear that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not pretty enough, we're not enough,
Yes.
period.
Absolutely.
And that's because we want to run away from that belief and that feeling. We do things that we think are going to make us feel good and keep us away from that addiction when it only makes it worse.
Yes. And
And
even
yes,
like the energies of jealousy, like
yeah,
being a girl, growing up and being around, I just observed it so much, this jealousy and competition with other women. And I was teaching a yoga teacher training, and I had these women all in the circle, and they were crying. And a couple of the girls opened up, and they were like, "You know, Tanya, this is the first place I felt safe, and I feel like women support me." And she was crying, and she's like, I don't even know what this is. Like, it actually kind of is just freaky to her because she's so used to being in environments where she's competing with the other women, and they're competing, they're trying to cutthroat her, and they're trying to take advantage of her. And it's sad to me, but I feel like it's the perfect contrast she needed, was to be in those environments and then to be in an environment where she was loved and heard and seen. And just think of the planet when we all let go of competition. I just feel ego in essence is lack. So whatever ego is telling, it's whenever the voice of ego is active, it's telling you something's lacking. It's telling
right.
you there's something wrong and there's something to be afraid of. And it's always seducing you into whatever it thinks you need to do to get more. And
Mhm.
if we could stop listening to that insane voice and really get quieter and listen to our soul again, we will find balance. And I know that then we will really have an opportunity to be, reflections of this love towards each other,
Mhm.
because there is no lack and we don't have to compete. Like, there's
Mhm.
plenty, there's plenty for us all.
Yes, there is.
Hmm.
And one way to begin that journey inward in order to not feel lack and to feel love is to not everybody, there are people that they think if they meditate that they're being really weird or something. So there's many ways to go inside of ourselves or to just sit still by ourselves, listen to music, and I'm not talking about necessarily music with words unless it's spiritual words that really make you feel like you're in touch with that soul essence or your God.
Yes.
That's good. But there's also doing things for other people
Hmm.
that can open our hearts as well. If we if we say I want to be able to have more compassion for other people, I want to be able to love other people, well then go do something for someone that is suffering and
Yes.
see what it does to your heart.
Yes, turn on
So
that how may I serve inside
yeah,
of you and
yes,
start leading from that heart space. Absolutely.
and that will fulfill everyone that does that on a level that nothing you could ever buy could fulfill.
Absolutely,
So
sister.
that's the beginning. Yeah. So that's the
Absolutely.
beginning. And anything that makes you feel love. And I'm not talking about ego love. I'm talking about soul love, heart love, deep heart love, compassion, that kind of love. That is what opens the door to your soul.
I
And
totally agree.
yeah,
So we've just got a few minutes left, and that hour, didn't that go by really fast?
yes, it always does.
This is the thing, when you're totally in your now moment, living your passion, it
Mhm.
just flies. Like, I just always am like, whoa, I have no concept of time. So,
Yeah, either.
yeah, it was awesome. Well,
Right.
what would you, I know that you have some specials that you wanted to mention that you're offering, and then also tell them about where they can actually find your book. And do
Okay.
you have it? I can hold it up and show it, or do you have it and want to show
Yeah, go
them?
ahead, hold it up and show. I don't have one on.
Okay, so here's mine, and it's all dog-eared and highlighted.
Kind of looks like mine.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's her book. Okay.
And there is a subtitle to that. It's I Dreamed I Was Human, Awakening from the Illusion. And
Nice.
yes, and you can find it on Amazon.com, Barnes and Noble. I Dreamed I Was Human is one of my websites. That's my book website. You can also order it through iUniverse. That is the publishing company that published my book.
Okay.
And I have a personal website which is called Awakening You,
Okay.
AWAKENINGYOU.com. And you can find out about all my other services. I do public speaking. I love speaking in front of people. So if anybody's interested, let me know through my website, awakeningyou.com. And I also do what I call soul path plans for people. I help people understand their soul and what they have come in here to learn in this particular lifetime. And through that soul plan, you will learn what role you came into play on the earth this time and what that means for you, and what your personality is like, what kind of personality you chose to work through, and how the world sees that personality, and how that can hurt you and how that can help you. You also will see what your goal is this life. I mean, our main goal in everyone's life is to see through the illusion and know that we are these spiritual beings in human form. Um, but we come in with certain aspects that help us
To do
push
that.
ourselves in that direction.
Yes.
And one of those is uh, our personality, and the perception we have when we come in of ourselves and of life and what we are taught by our parents. We pick the parents that are going to change our perception, that will hopefully start triggering the things we came in to work on.
Yes.
And I will show you what that looks like and how that can help you. And we also come in with fears. So by the age 35, we have a specific fear that we work out of the most. And I will tell you what your fear is and how it sabotages you and how you can move out of it. And you can find out more about this on my website. And I want to say that I am an author and a speaker, but I also write articles for Sedona. It's called Sedona Journal of Emergence magazine. It goes out all over the world, but it is published in Sedona. And you can find me in that magazine. And you can find that magazine just about anywhere where they sell spiritual books. Even Barnes and Noble has that magazine.
Okay.
And I am a certified hypnotherapist, and I am an ordained minister in spiritual psychology. And I have a master's degree in holistic nutrition. And I have been on this spiritual path for over 35 years. So this is what's kept me here, this path. That's what's kept
Awesome.
me. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Carolyn. I hope everyone that is being summoned in to work with you will contact you. And who knows, maybe our two soul missions will align even more than just today, because I feel like we have a lot of similar
Yeah.
goals and desires as far as speaking
Mhm.
publicly, doing seminars and healing
Yes,
retreats is my intention to manifest coming
yes.
up. So as those things come, we'll just stay in touch, and I'd
Okay,
love to have you back on and we could do
great.
interviews with different intentions.
Sure.
So let's both just keep our eyes open and see
Okay.
how we could make some magic together on this planet. What
Yeah,
do you say?
I would love it. Thank you.
Sounds
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you guys. Everyone, contact Carolyn. She gave info and this is recorded. So I will be uploading this. If you want to go follow me on YouTube, it's under Tawnya Angel. So I encourage you to go right away and go follow me on there so that you can easily find whenever we upload shows, we'll put them up there. And that way, if you miss something, you can go back and rewind, listen. Sometimes you might want to listen to these shows like 5, 10 times, and it's going to really start to resonate this shift in your belief systems and what you're used to. So, especially if something we said today just rubbed you the wrong way, really tune into that and just be open to why you have resistance to it. And there could be amazing shifting happening inside of you. So, I just want to thank you so much, Carolyn, for taking time from your
Thank,
day to connect with us.
thank you.
And thank you to all the viewers that tune in every week and, contact us. We are here on this planet to help you, and it is our absolute pleasure to serve and assist you. So please make use of our gifts, right?
Yes,
We
absolutely.
love it.
We love it.
Yes. Yes.
We
It
do.
makes us feel like, oh, there's a reason. Like we're on this
Yes,
planet and we just
exactly.
helped another soul heal. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So thank you all so much. And we will tune in again next week on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific. So if you have any questions and you want to contact either of us in the meantime, you know how to reach me. My website, Carolyn's website. Just stay in touch with us. Have a beautiful, blessed day. Namaste.
Namaste.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, and if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.